is Nolan Godfrey, co-founder of Faceoff Club and former MLL and Canadian box player. And in this episode of Lacrosse School, we're going to examine the most successful face-off stances to use. Okay, so first we're going to talk about the alignment. We see a lot of face-off guys now, they get in a north-south orientation where right now that guy is just thinking about him, a lacrosse ball, and a goal. But our biggest obstacle to any of those things and having control of that is the opponent that's across from us. So we talk about a draw, a face-off, a draw. It's a 50-50 between me and my opponent. So I'm going to want to set my toes, my hips, my shoulders, and my full body in line with this opponent who's going to be at 2 o'clock alignment for me. Okay. He's in the way of my possession of this ball, of the goal I'm looking to attack eventually. So I originate my open stance off of a 2-point stance in football or any other sport. We talk about a 2-point stance, a defensive stance, and it's the most economical and most explosive and most athletic stance possible. So I'm going to derive my face-off stance out of a 2-point stance. I'm going to get 50-50 between the 2 feet. I'm going to come down, put slight weight on my hands, and I'm going to drive forward with both feet and my hands in one motion. We call that the one move. And if you see my finish position, I'm light on my hands, I'm very stable, I'm very mobile, I can go in any direction. If I control that ball, I can go forward, I can go back. If I don't end up winning the clamp and my opponent gets in and out quickly, I can run with him. If you notice also, I'm looking to get my helmet on my side of the midline. A lot of players, they go forward with their head and their shoulders, and then they only make contact on a small portion of their shoulder against their opponent. I want my opponent to deal with not just my right shoulder, but my whole helmet, my left shoulder, my whole chest. So from shoulder to shoulder, he's going to deal with me physically, and he's not going to like that. So if I keep my helmet on my side of the midline, and I end up in a straddle position of the midline, and I cross not only the north-south hemisphere with the left side of my body, but I also cross the prime meridian with my full body. That's what I want to do. So if you notice, I set up on a cross here on a multi-sport turf field with lots of lines. You can find it all over the field in the corner of the field. So I call this the matrix or the cross. It shows me visually where I'm starting and where I'm finishing. I'm ending up nice and low. My shoulders are below my knees. I'm testing my hands right now, nice and light. My helmet's on this side of the midline, so that's going to cut across the front of my opponent. So a big analogy that I use is talking about the face-off as being like a football fumble that we need to get possession of and also advance quickly. So in the last couple of years, we've seen a increase in the incidents that referees call withholding. So we can't just get a clamp or a jam and lay on top of that ball for several seconds. They're going to call us for a procedure and they're going to award the ball to our opponent. We don't want that. We're working too hard here. So we have to have the utmost mobility at the end of our first move off the whistle, and we call that the one move. So I'm going to train with a football here. I'm going to get down, my face-off stance, my face-off grip, which should be bench press width. I'm going to explode in the same fashion I do on the draw, and it's going to be like I'm taking a 2-hand handoff from the ground. Okay. Want to get low and wide around that ball. And then I'm going to measure how quickly I can get out, go in any direction. Okay. If I get a good clamp on the ball, I can take it in any direction. I want to make sure that I take that 2-hand handoff, and at the end of my one move, it's like I have a 1-hand handoff. So if I was a running back, I'd have that ball to protection. Same thing if I'm dribbling in basketball. I have the possession of the ball 180 degrees away from my opponent. Same thing here on the face-off. My opponent's here, and I get that ball here on my side of the midline. Okay? My opponent's here. I got my possession here. My body's taking care of my hands, protecting those. And now I'm free to move my hands and my body in any direction. Free hands is something we talk about with an offensive player and a midfielder all the time. We want the same thing on a face-off. Okay? So again, I'm Nolan Godfrey from Faceoff Club. To learn more about what we offer for training at the face-off position, visit faceoffclub.com.